Through every storm, every moment of uncertainty,
everybody needs to pray for Charlie Kirk right now.
Rav has stood strong.
We're not going to tolerate this stuff anymore.
Turn that anger into motivation to save this nation.
When we move together, there is power.
The cries of this widow will echo like a battle cry.
This is more than news. It's a movement.
This revolution of people taking their countries back.
A turning point. A chance to be part of something greater than yourself. Scan the QR code and stand with Rav. The story isn't over, and neither is your part in it. Step in, be counted, be heard. Together, we are Rav.
We will achieve American greatness. And we are just getting started.
Welcome back. Hillary Clinton decided to weigh in on Jimmy Kimmel's ousting from the late-night television scene, at least temporarily. Take a listen to what old Hill Shady had to say.
It is a direct government action to try to intimidate employers, organizations, corporations, much of which we've already seen, to remove an opponent, even though it's a comic. It's I had no idea when I was in public life and listening to the jokes that were made about me and the attacks that were, coming from people like Jimmy Kimmel and others, that I could have called up the head of the FCC and said, take them off the air. I don't like what they're saying.
15 minutes are uphill. You didn't get it. You're not going to be president. Sorry. Meanwhile, in crazy land, Jasmine Crockett trying to rewrite all of our laws, apparently in her mind. Entering this country illegally is not against the law, according to Jazzy Jasmine Crockett. By the way, she is the congresswoman from Texas. Think about that. Listen to her insanely dangerous rhetoric.
It is not a criminal violation to enter the country illegally. It's not a criminal. It's a crime. It's not a crime, which is why they're so frustrated, because they really want our local law enforcement to go out and round up people when they could be looking out for the murderers and the sexual abusers as well as the robbers. They want them to go and round people up on civil accusations.
Actually, it is a crime, and when you perpetrate a crime, you are a criminal. So, Jazz, I think you're wrong and you're wrong. Hey, if I'm wrong, you tell me. I don't think it's a policy, a border policy. I think it's actually border laws. Gavin Newsom just signed one of the most insane bills we can never think of or ever heard of, a bill that literally unmasks ICE agents, makes them forced to take their masks off. This is unbelievable.
I'll be signing a bill, the first in the nation, saying enough. To ICE, unmask. What are you afraid of? What are you afraid of? What are you afraid of? If you're going to go out and you're going to do enforcement, provide an ID. Tell us which agency you represent. Provide us basic information that all local law enforcement is required to provide.
Tough guy, right? Tough guy with a big security detail around him everywhere he goes, around his family, wherever they go, around their home. Tough guy, huh, Gav? Yeah, really? Okay. Because I've ridden with those ICE officers, and one of the things they're afraid of is someone taking a picture of their face, because the cartels have facial recognition software that can pinpoint where they live and where their families are. So that's why ICE officers wear masks, dumbass. That's why they do that. By the way, you have armed security around you. What are you afraid of? The death of their family. Jerk. Really? He wants to be president? Good luck with that. And by the way, this is one of the problems when a mayor's office doesn't support its own police department. Crime explodes because the cops say, if I'm not getting supported by the mayor's office and I go for an arrest and someone accuses me of being too tough on, a criminal accuses me, cops just say, I'm not going to do it. I'm just not going to do it. You can't blame them. And this is where a whole state, the state of California, is the governor's telling every one of those officers, I don't have your back. What do you think they're going to do? They're going to stand down, and it's just going to become deluged, swamped with more illegals and crime. Ilhan Omar, apparently embarrassed by America, in one of the most hypocritical sound bites that we will play this week, hopefully, it's only Tuesday, the insane lady really says that we're being run by idiots. Listen.
For me, I feel embarrassed for him, because in these attacks, what he does, and I think with the likes of Nancy Mace, and whoever that Randy guy is, they expose themselves for how stupid they are. And that is embarrassing for us as a country because these are people who are elected to positions of leadership. He's supposed to be the president of the United States, who's heading off to Europe to represent us. When he does, he's uneducated enough to understand that members of Congress can't be impeached. You know, when you have Nancy and Randy saying, you know, we're on it, we're going to impeach her. When they're saying they're going to deport me, knowing full well that you cannot deport an American citizen. What that displays for not just Americans, but folks on an international platform is that our country is being led by idiots.
Says the woman who married her own brother to get him citizenship in the United States. Says the woman who has said blatantly out loud that she cares more about the people from her home country, Somalia, than she does of America's. Says the woman whose real husband made $40 million charging the U.S. government for advising services. Says the woman who now is bubbling up to the top of the list on Democrat candidate lists. Can you believe this? This hateful human being. All that. Chuck Schumer was asked why he wouldn't endorse Zohan Mamdani, like many of his delusional peers, but didn't really offer an explanation. Listen to this.
Before I let you go, speaking of candidates, you've been asked numerous times if you will endorse Zohran Mamdani for New York City mayor. You always say you're going to continue to talk. There are two key questions here that you haven't answered. One is, will you ever endorse him? And two, what do you need from him to get your endorsement?
Okay. Well, first of all, you know, I know him. We've had a good relationship in the past, and we had a good meeting 2 weeks ago, a very long meeting with a lot of serious questions. And all I can tell you is I'm going to continue talking to him.
What's the holdup?
I got to continue talking to him, and that's what I'm going to do.
Is part of the calculus that if you endorse a Democratic socialist, you're worried it will be damaging to your party, maybe even your chances of winning back the Senate?
I'm going to continue talking to him. Dana, you can ask me again.
All right. Had to try, Senator. I really...
Yeah. Great programming. Wow, that was compelling. Rachel Maddow just announced another mega liberal No Kings protest. Oh, another No Kings protest. Let's see who's funding this one, shall we? Listen to how proud she was to break the news.
You may have already heard this, but the organizers of the No Kings rallies, remember the No Kings rallies that happened back in June? Those huge protests in June that attracted more than 5 million people across the country. Organizers from the No Kings events that happened back then have just now announced the date for the next No Kings demonstrations. They're going to be October 18th. So that's going to be no thrones, no crowns, no kings. Saturday, October 18th. That's about 6 weeks from now. They just announced it like yesterday. They've already got hundreds of rallies and demonstrations planned that day. They say they are expecting more people to show up in October than the 5 million plus people who showed up in June.
Okay, so I wonder who's financing that. I wonder why they didn't just go with October 7th. They should just own the whole thing. You know, October 7th, kill 1,400 Jews, young people at a music festival. You leftists are all the same. Just admit it. October 18th, really. Another rally. Soros is spending his money. Tim Walz got a warm reception at a Farmfest over the weekend. He went there to defend his ridiculous COVID mandates, and his state's farmers let him have it. Watch.
We're facing challenges. When we face challenges, the solution is not to divide more of us. It's to come together. I'm proud in Minnesota that we were able to do that. Keeping our death rates from COVID the lowest 10 in the nation upstate. Keeping our... Please.
Another guy doesn't realize Hillary was on, she lost, she's done. Kamala was on, she lost, she's done. This clown is horrible. Biggest mistake of the Democrats' life, picking him as the vice president. He's gone, but they just don't step aside. They don't know when it's time to step aside. I will do that. It's time for me to step aside for this, and a commercial. We'll be right back. I started with nothing but my body and my mind, and I fought my way to the top of 4 arenas built to break men. First, pro baseball, where every pitch can end your dream. Then Wall Street, where I became one of the highest earning traders in America. Then came television, primetime lights, millions watching every night, a test. And I put it in writing. Wake Up America, followed by The Swamp, calling out corruption by name. But the edge isn't politics. It's not about fame. It's about fire. It's about proving yourself when everything is on the line. Only the strong survive it. Only the ready rise through it. This is The Edge.